Hey, how's it going, everybody? Well, a little bit of a throwback Thursday thing here for this week's vlog. Yeah, it's snowing out here. Weather's fucking shitty, like I said in the last vlog, so... Yeah, the reason I say it's Throwback Thursday is I'm going to do a vlog about, like, my past cars. Now, I watch a lot... Mostly what I watch on YouTube is automotive-related stuff. And it could be anything from, like, road rage videos, to in-depth tours of cars, to how-tos on to fix your car, and even the destruction of a car, like, like how David's farm was. And of course, there's a lot... I mean, the channel names are, like, endless as far as car videos go. Like, you got Subkyle 04, you got Serial Marshmallows, Eric the Car Guy, if you want to see instructional videos on how to fix stuff, and the list just goes on and on and on. But really what I'm here to do today is basically talk about the vehicles that I've had before I had a YouTube account. I got 4 in-depth tours of like 4 vehicles I've owned, but in this video I'm basically going to go over the ones that I had before the account, so I guess we'll start off with this bad boy. Well, not really my car, and this ain't the actual picture of the one I'm talking about, but this here is a 1988 Ford Escort wagon, and the reason I include this on here is it was actually the car I learned how to drive in, and I just kind of found that picture off the interweb, and damn it, I thought I clicked on it, and of course there's the rear shot of it. But my mom and dad's Escort wagon was a lot like this. Took my road test in it and everything. And they actually bought theirs brand new back in like '88. And my dad ended up taking it to the junkyard in like '04 when the head gasket went out. So it was almost 200,000 miles old. And there's what the interior looked like, and it was that exact color too. Now, I mean, this interior here on this picture is out of a Mercury Lynx, but it's pretty much the same deal as an Escort. So, yeah, it just, a lot of this here kind of reminds me of the old Tempon. And there's the only actual picture of it that I could find. And there's my dad's old 78 parked right behind it. But what I'm amazed about is the fact that the clutch on this car was never replaced. And it went through not only 200,000 miles, but me and my brother learning how to drive in this thing. And yeah, I'd say the clutch was on its way out by then, but I mean, it actually outlasted the car itself, which I'm amazed. So this is pretty much like your run-of-the-mill from point A to point B vehicle. I mean, nothing really too extravagant. I find it kind of ironic that you have enough room to get a woman in the back, but ironically enough, the women run away from it. But yeah, that was the '88 Escort wagon, which, like I said, I did not actually own this car. This was my mom's. This is our family car. So let's move on. Now, this is the first vehicle I owned. This here would be a 1984 Ford Ranger. It's got a little 2.3 liter carbureted engine in it. And you kids today don't know the struggles of trying to start a carbureted vehicle in the winter and then keeping it running. What a bitch. But yeah, I actually owned this one for 2.5 years. Pretty much got me through high school and stuff. And right there's a picture of me when I was 17. Did a little bit of a rim upgrade on it. The rims came off of an old 1974 Maverick Grabber. Kind of gave it a little bit of flair, you know. And there's what the interior looked like, even though this ain't really my interior, but it's pretty damn close. I remember getting in that thing in the summertime, and you get your ass burnt with the vinyl seats. Had no air conditioning. Of course, mine actually had a CD player. Had to upgrade the stereo system. And moving on to the next one. That there is a 1994 Pontiac Sunbird. And I would say this is probably the best car I've ever owned right here. I actually took this one home for like $6,500. It only had 63,000 original on it at the time. So this actually got me from the end of high school up to right after my 10-year reunion. So yeah, I got a lot of years out of this one. And a ton of miles too. I'd say what, it got me up to 227,000 miles. So I put a good bit of mileage on it. I was driving like an hour to work back and forth every day for a couple years. But this is the best part about this car right here. It had a 3.1 liter V6. Same as what was found in the Cavalier Z24. So, and it also had the 5-speed too, which was really awesome. So basically, it's a Pontiac version of a Z24 without the insurance cost of a Z24. That was the beauty of it. And on top of all that, this thing could pull 30 miles to the gallon on a road trip. But yet, you have like all kinds of power when you need it. I mean, it was a real good ratio between fuel economy and power. And I never really had to do too many expensive repairs to it. I had the head gaskets done on it. You know, well, basically what had happened is I had a spark plug that was spitting out the back, like way back here was the other side of the cylinders, and it was spitting out a spark plug. So I paid someone to like tear it apart and, you know, do the helicoil and stuff. Well, while they had it apart, I had them do the head gaskets and stuff, which is probably a good thing I did. And the only other thing major that went wrong with it, which I'm going to admit was kind of my fault, was the clutch. And I kind of screwed that up from like laying patches of rubber. There's what the interior looked like, although that's not actually my car. But it was a little bit darker than that, but very sporty, very sleek. And alright, so there's my first crash ever. And yeah, that was about a 60-mile-an-hour deer hit right there. And yeah, funny story behind that is I popped up over this hill. It was just like sunset, and there was like 2 deer that were crossing the road when I popped up over this hill, and by the time I seen them, it was too late. That's pretty much the end result. So see, I had nothing to kill the deer with or anything, or no way to haul it back, so I was able to drive back to the house there. Well, we hop on my dad's F-150 to come back and get the deer, not even a half hour later. And this is like 2 miles from my house where this happened. Well, the deer was gone. Someone had already scarfed it up. It's like, son of a bitch. But luckily at the time, this car was still worth a good bit, so the insurance company actually fixed it. But it was a $2,500 repair. And that little 3.1 V6 sign right there, $55 through the fucking dealer. You want to talk about bend me over? Well, really they bent the insurance company over, but still, holy shit, that much for a damn stick-on sign? And of course, I had like 4 deer hits in that car in the same year, this being the worst one. The second deer hit actually knocked that sign off again, and they replaced it again. So, yeah, that was crazy. The other deer hit was actually 75 mile an hour going down 81, and it was less damage than this, luckily. And then right there's when I rolled it over 200,000 miles. And there was the end right there. This was the one that finished it off. This wreck here was not my fault. It was actually the result of a Jeep Cherokee who was turning around at an intersection. He was turning around, he kind of turned into a road and he wanted to like do a U-turn, didn't see me coming, and his bumper ran right into me right across here, folded the door back, blew the window out. It's almost like a bomb fucking went off whenever the window broke. But luckily, I wasn't hurt, the other guy wasn't hurt, we both drove off. And I've stopped by my parents on the way back from the crash, and so me and my dad took and put a redneck window right across here, because it happened on a cold, rainy October day, so you want to talk about a cold-ass ride home. So we took some duct tape and some plastic and taped right over this. So, even though the car could drive home on its own power, well, it was just too old and too many miles for the insurance company to decide to fix it, so needless to say, it got totaled. And I wanted to cry like a bitch when the rollback took and hauled it off. So basically that car right there in the background, the old Tempon that you've seen in many videos, is what replaced it. So yeah, I really, if any car that I got rid of is a car that I really miss, it's got to be this one. And, you know, and Pontiac had decided to go out of business right about the time this happened, so it was unfortunate. And we're kind of going to end here with the T-Bird. I still currently have this one, and that's me at 21 years old right there, right after I first got it. I only had 11,000 miles on it at the time when I first got it. And right now it's got 22,000. There's a more recent pic of it from like 5 years ago. And I do have a full in-depth video of that one on here. It's actually the most popular video on this channel. There's an ass shot. Yeah, look at that ass. Look at that ass! Yeah. And then there's what's power in this beast. You got a 4.6 liter modular V8. Very common motor that Ford came out with. You had the more hopped up versions of it in the Mustangs. The Crown Victorias had this. These engines were pretty much everywhere. And yeah, the fuel economy on this wasn't too bad considering it being a V8. I've actually seen it get 24 miles to the gallon on a road trip, so I can't bitch about it. I mean, it's actually gotten better mileage than any of my Rangers did, which is really crazy. Actually, no, my 4-cylinder Ranger got the same top mileage as this V8, which is real crazy. My V6 Ranger, my Mazda B Series, won't even touch this mileage-wise, so that's real crazy. There's the interior shot, and you know somebody really took good care of this car when they still got the window sticker to it. It gives you all the specs on it and stuff. And you can see the miles per gallon rating, which is saying 25 highway. And I came close to it with 24. People on the forums are claiming 26 or 27 out of this engine, which, yeah, I can believe it. And then, of course, right there is like the base price. You go over all the options. So, back in the day, yeah, back in my day, you could pick up a 97 Ford Thunderbird loaded for $22,685, fresh off the truck. But yeah, I think it's like one of those last production runs with that limited edition until they came out with that Jaguar-based convertible that mimicked the old 55s. And that's the most recent shot of it, but yeah, figured I'd do a little Throwback Thursday vlog on here and about the vehicles from the past that I never could do videos on since YouTube didn't exist. Except for this one, of course, but I still had to include it in there. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a slideshow, and I'm sure I'll have more vlogs on the way, and we'll see you later.